If Batman wore a bat costume, would it be Batman? Or Man Batman?
Batman, Bat. Man, Batman.
We should not be trying this. Batman. Okay.
Batman, Batman.
Even Penny got it right and better than we did.
Yep.
That's a
All right.
That's a explanation.
That is explanation.
What if I represent? Yo.
I was gonna write you an email, but I'm a little drunk and spelling is a sober person's game. So I feel I owe you an explanation. I'm sorry. Explanation.
Holy crap.
Nice. Look at that pour.
Well, it should have some head on it. That's how you.
It should, and it's got a bit of head if you get it in focus. There you go. That's a good head right there.
That's what she said. Wait, that's what he said. I think both of them can say it. Hopefully. Pachycephalosaurus. We got the bony crown. Who found that song?
You know that song better than I do.
Well, I've used it a couple of times on my podcast.
Yes.
When making fun of someone. Well, subtly, as subtle as I can be, making fun of someone.
Right. Not very.
Yeah. I've given up on that. I'm an Aries. My snake side is supposed to be subtle. The only time I'm subtle is when I'm not trying, or I think I'm obvious.
Yep.
Then nobody gets it. Really?
So at work the other day, so at my job when I am not on assignment, the company has a 3D printer, and so the coworker who runs the 3D printer ran out of stuff to 3D print for the company, and is like, well, if anybody wants me to 3D print them something, just send me the link. So I had him print me it's about this big, but it's a skeleton, articulated skeleton. So since it was so small, some of the joints and things didn't fit quite right. So I've had to super glue certain parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had another coworker come in who works in a different part of the building, and they wanted
Earthquake? Sorry, I was trying to adjust.
They came in, they wanted something for their granddaughter. And so he comes walking in, he's like, oh, so-and-so is printing a 3D or a dinosaur on the 3D printer. And we're gonna have to like put it all together when it's done because it comes in pieces. And I thought, damn it, I want one. Now I've got to go and find a dinosaur printable for him to print out for me, right? And so the next day he comes walking in and he's like, oh, thank you for the dragon. My granddaughter really liked it. I sat there and like, wait, no. And it irritated me. And he's like, yeah, she really loved her dragon dinosaur.
Did you practice your Kolinar?
I had to practice Kolinar a few times. I mean, I know I've joked about it.
Now, I'm so happy. Having had this done to me numerous times. On purpose.
Anyway, talking about being cool.
Oh, the things I don't get to see. You wonder why there's a Zoltan Day.
I had no control of this.
Uh-huh. I had no control of that. Well, when I saw it first,
You still could have warned me.
yeah, but that wouldn't have been any fun. Well, so welcome back, my fellow agents and believers. Is I, your excellence of execution, your agent of awesome, X7. With me, as always, is the peerless princess of power herself, Lilith Draco.
Welcome back.
So, Lil, I don't know that anything's going to top Zoltan Day ever in my life,
It never will. No.
like topping Catwoman.
Oh, we'll have to talk about that one too.
I've met Julie Newmar, who is also 6 feet tall.
Nice. Who's your favorite Catwoman in a list?
Well, Julie Newmar is number one. That's just not going to
Is
happen.
that Sheldon's favorite too?
It should be. It should be everyone's. I mean, I do like tiny little Michelle Pfeiffer, but she's not 6 feet tall. She's very funny and that's a very oddball Batman movie. I like them all. Yeah, I've not seen Halle Berry as Catwoman.
What about oh gosh. She's in one of the newer ones.
Yeah, I know who you're talking. Anne Hathaway.
Yes.
Anne Hathaway? Why do I know that? Why?
I'm actually not surprised that you pulled her name
But
out.
I don't like those movies. They're
Oh.
too serious. Batman. My Batman hits you so hard words pop out of the air to describe how hard he hits
And
you.
everything has a label, even the label maker.
Well, that's not true. but a lot of them had labels, yes. Because as a young Bat fan, I took all of that very seriously. I did not realize that it was supposed to be funny because I was like, 5 and 6, and
Yeah.
I was very worried that Spider-Man, that Batman would not get out of that giant snow cone. I didn't really care if Robin didn't, but
Yeah.
But
Does anyone really like Robin?
I like Robin.
No. No. Well.
Yeah, I mean, he was
Nightwing?
introduced very quickly to Batman to humanize him because in the first couple of Batman stories, he actually shot people. And he doesn't do that.
He becomes Batwing? Nightwing. Wait. I like Batwing better.
Batwing is the plane. Dick Grayson becomes Nightwing, a superhero in his own right.
Okay.
I might have said that at the exact same time Stuart did to Sheldon because,
Yeah.
I mean, duh.
Duh. Sheldon should have known that.
You would think. The whole thing works if Batman is actually a legacy hero, and until they kill Bruce Wayne or actually age him to the, I mean, Superman was first published in 1938. That's almost 90 years ago now. 90. Batman was the next year. Wonder Woman wasn't the triumvirate here, the Holy Trinity of comic books. She was 41, maybe 42. Don't quote me on that. We can talk about Wonder Woman. But,
somebody had Wonder Woman decorations in her room.
Yeah. You should see my wall. Jeez.
Another great moment in our history.
I thought you were going to.
And my ex was none the wiser.
I thought you were going to wet yourself trying to hold that in.
It was hard.
But so between Batman and Superman are almost 90 years old, which is just, I've known that they've been around both of our whole lives.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, and they've gone through a lot of different permutations, and rightfully so. I don't like all of them, but Batman, ugh, a lot of them well, anyway. I don't know where it's going with this.
I don't know either.
Let's talk about your topic. Lilith is going to
pull
host
it back. Let's pull it back.
Reel it in.
So So we decided to do this episode because tomorrow is Fat Tuesday or Mardi Gras. So I wanted to do an episode about the history of Mardi Gras. I have actually been twice. Oh, years. I have to do math in years.
And math, as Barbie said, math is hard, and when you're awesome, math is harder.
I'll figure it out during the episode, but huh?
We're going to play a game later in a different episode of Drunken Math.
Gosh, I'm terrible at math. So bad.
Your humble agent is not a math. I'm an agent, not a mathematician. Damn it, Jim.
Son, I gotta write that down.
We're also going to do drunken writing too, and we've never done.
Oh man.
Well, I have. I've got journal entries to prove that, but I can't read. Incidentally, I'm drinking this thing, which is called.
Forgot again.
Which is, and we also forgot. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, hit that subscription, the notification bell, the subscription notice. Hit the notification bell if you want to see our new content, and watch for a couple longer minutes.
It helps the algorithm.
That, yes. This is a Boundary Beyond. It's a coffee stout, which is not always my favorite, but it's after pre-graming.
Yes.
13.2.
Someone's about to get awesome.
You think your 10% Maharaj is a butt kicker, and it is. I've watched it kick your right in the middle of a grocery store. Well, it kicked my butt then too.
And like 30 minutes after having it. So I'm drinking.
You give me that. It's like, well.
First thing, you know.
Yeah, I know. There's a 6-pack still sitting there for you.
Perfect. It'll be nice and cold. Extra cold.
I don't know how well they age. That's what scares me.
We'll find out. It might kick my ass a little bit more than usual. So tonight I'm drinking from Red Rock Brewery. It's a Fucafino double IPA.
What the hell's on that cover? It
is an elephant octopus.
And is that like a dogopus?
Fucafino is what it is. It's a 9%. It gives me directions to keep it cold. Drink now.
Doy. How big is that can? Is that a regular size can?
No, it's a bigger one.
Yeah.
Taller. I don't know if it's.
It's a proper
trying
pint.
To find the.
Point. Would you like a point?
Anyway, Red Rock is in Salt Lake. Salt Lake City, 1800s. I was trying to look for the IBUs because it's pretty good.
Is it bitter? Is it bitter? Bitter? Bitter, not better.
It is. I could stand a little more bitter, but I mean, I just like bitter.
Yeah. Again, that book talks about the bitter, how they got the bitters with extra hops. Beer did not start out that way.
Nope. I do like the extra hops. I do like the bitter, which is weird. Not really.
Well, that Bigfoot is that barley wine. It's just like
so good.
And that Sculpin that was when I realized I was not a fan of bitter.
I have had a Sculpin and I have enjoyed it.
I would think so.
So
they didn't even charge me for it.
All right. So, do you know much about Mardi Gras?
It means Fat Tuesday, and it's celebrated before Lent.
Right. So they actually.
Saint Mother is a biblical scholar.
Okay. So the times I always went about a week prior to Fat Tuesday, because for a few weeks leading up is when, I mean, it's just celebrations all day long. Carnival all day long.
Carnival.
Yes. So this tradition dates back thousands of years to pagan celebrations of spring and fertility.
Huzzah!
It's also including Roman festivals of Saturnalia and Lupercalia.
Oh, we just passed Lupercalia.
So Saturnalia is held mid-December. It's an ancient Roman pagan festival honoring the agriculture god Saturn. Because of when the holiday occurred, which is near the winter solstice, the celebrations are where the traditions of Christmas started. Lupercalia was an ancient pagan festival held each year in Rome on February 15th.
Brown chicka brown cow.
Yep. It was a bloody, violent, and sexually charged celebration with animal sacrifice, random matchmaking, and coupling with the hopes of warding off evil spirits and infertility.
I don't approve of animal sacrifice, but I do approve of the rest.
Yes.
Wolves, Looper, which is
Yep.
lycanthropy, werewolves. And I highly approve of werewolves.
So vampires are a little bit better.
Team werewolf by night.
Team vampire by night.
They can only exist by night. They can't even get up during the day. And werewolves are immune.
They just can't go out in the sun.
Werewolves are immune to vampire power. Ha ha ha. Ha. Hey, why was in Frankenstein, in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, Larry Talbot, the Wolfman, played by excellent actor Lon Chaney Jr., out to stop Dracula from reviving the Frankenstein monster? He's the good guy, even though he's a werewolf.
That is just the lore of that one movie. Not
Now,
it's not definitive.
Vampires can, in some cultures, turn into wolves. They're just wannabe werewolves. Oh, that was a good one.
Bats are better, and they turn into bats.
Well,
all right.
I do like Batman. If Batman wore a bat costume, would it be Batman? Or Batman?
Batman. Batman.
We should not be trying this. Batman. Okay.
Batman.
Even Penny got it right and better than we did.
Yep.
That's a
all right.
That's a explanation.
That is explanation. So when Christianity arrived in Rome, the religious leaders decided to incorporate the traditions into the new faith. As a result, the excess and debauchery of Mardi Gras season became a prelude to Lent, which is the 40 days of fasting and penance between Ash Wednesday and Easter Sunday. I've never participated in Lent. Growing up in the 1800s as a cult member of the Mormons, that is not something that is taught in our faith.
Oh, no, the MLM doesn't believe in that.
No, we never, Lent is not a part of our religion. Their religion, because I'm not a part of it now, but.
Some good things about it then. Freaking Catholics.
So they do fasting every first Sunday of the month. And while they fast for 24 hours, so while they're hungry and low blood sugar, they then have to go up in front of the whole congregation and express how they know the church is true, basically just reconvincing themselves. Anyway.
Can I barf now? And not
Oh,
I'm
yes.
not my own best friend, barf.
Lesson 101 about Mormonism.
Jeez. We're going to get you on that. Going off on it someday.
One of these days, yes.
It's going to happen.
So along with Christianity, Mardi Gras spread through the from Rome to the other European countries. Traditionally, in the days leading up to Lent, merrymakers would binge on all the rich, fatty foods, which are like meats, eggs, milk, lard, and cheese, that remained in their homes in anticipation of several weeks of eating only fish and different types of fasting. I don't know what the different types of fasting are, but
Liquid diets, like bread or something like that. Liquid
well,
most.
what types of fasting they did back then.
Who cares?
Well, I'm just stating that I don't know what.
No, sorry.
So the first American Mardi Gras took place on March 3rd, 1699. And it was because when two French explorers, I have their names.
Oh, no, please. You got to say them.
Words are hard.
Who's hard?
Words are hard, especially French names.
Jacques.
Pierre, Lee, Moyne, D'Iberville.
That's D'Iberville, yes. I know that's actually Mississippi.
Dior de Benneville for the two guys.
Okay, that's you did a good job. That's very well done. French is not an easy language.
No, that
Omelette
was
du fromage. That's the extent of my French.
butchered it. Anyway, so they landed near present-day New Orleans, Louisiana. Though some say that the port city that they landed is actually Mobile, Alabama. I don't know if there's like.
You think you're in the 1800s, they're in the 1600s. but that's an editorial comment.
Yeah. So they landed, they held a small celebration and called the landing spot Point du Mardi Gras. New Orleans and other French settlements began making the holiday with street parties, mass balls, and lavish dinners. When the Spanish took control of New Orleans, they abolished these rituals, and the ban remained in force until Louisiana became a U.S. state in 1812.
Thank you, Thomas Jefferson.
And I believe they're the only ones legally allowed to celebrate Mardi Gras the way that they do. Now, we can have celebrations, but the way it's done, it's not legal in other places.
The throwing of the beads and the taking off of the tops and the. Well, it's cold up here.
Yeah, I know. It was cold there.
That would wake up the girls.
It was actually cold there the 2 times that I went.
I'm not going to ask questions about how cold it was, because never mind. They went opposite directions.
Was it like this? All right. Mardi Gras in 1827, a group of students donned colorful costumes and danced through the streets of New Orleans. 10 years later, the first recorded New Orleans Mardi Gras parade took place, and it's going to this day. And they actually have several parades every day for maybe 2 to 3 weeks leading up to Fat Tuesday. And so you can go to these parades, and they just throw out beads to the crowd. So it's easy to get beads. You don't actually have to flash. Though one of my friends did flash, but she got a horrible string of beads because they can get pretty fancy. And I told her, I'm like, no, you tell them which set of beads you want. You get the good beads, then you flash and they throw it. You didn't do that, so you got a crappy set of beads.
Do I know this friend?
No.
Okay. Have you told me about this friend? It's not your friend that was crazy that lived in Las Vegas and
Yes, that is that friend.
I went right there.
You knew, yes. It was not Agent Thunder. In 1857, a secret society of New Orleans businessmen called the Mystic Crew of Comus organized a torchlit Mardi Gras procession with marching bands and rolling floats, setting the tone for future public celebrations in the city. Since then, crews have remained a fixture of the carnival scene through Louisiana. Rex is one of the oldest crews that have been participating in parades since 1872. And they established the traditional purple, gold, and green colors that is associated with Mardi Gras.
Its name is Rex.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, I had to throw that in there.
Well, yeah, and all I've got is little Hickentute here. I don't have a Rex with me.
So these crews, there's several of them that participate in these parades with their floats. And they are just secret societies, basically, that get together and donate their own money to have these pieces in part of Mardi Gras. And so the people aren't actually taxed. You don't have to pay to go to Mardi Gras. It all comes out of the crew's own financial pockets.
Whoa, how about that? Rich people doing something good for a change.
Yeah, I know. Some of the other lasting customs that have remained is throwing the beads and other trinkets, masks, decorating floats, and the king cake. Have you ever had the king cake?
No.
Have you seen a king cake?
Um,
So it's usually in a round circle. It's kind of like a cakey donut, and then they have icing and like the different colors and sprinkles.
I want one.
Huh?
Humble agent loves him some cake.
I had it and it was pretty good, but I don't eat a whole lot of dessert, so I don't really care. So I will say the pralines that I got in New Orleans, phenomenal.
Praline. Oh,
Pralines.
Sainted Mother loves her pralines.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. I brought a whole bunch home with me.
Well, I'd tell you to bring her some, but you don't really have to do anything more to curry her favor.
No, I don't, but I will. I gotta, move up, try to surpass a few of them. Anyway.
Well, at least you're one I like.
So yeah.
I'm not promoting this to her, by the way.
So that's all I have in the history. So now, we're where we're at. Still the traditions and the parades and the floats and the drinking and the debauchery. And most of it is down Bourbon Street. Now there's other streets alongside of Bourbon that has some of these places, has some of these parties and things, but it really is mostly that Bourbon Street. So the first trip out there, my one friend and her husband were stationed there.
The Loopy Loon.
Yes. And so I went out there to visit.
Ah.
And then the second trip is they had moved to Connecticut. And so they were going back. And then me and Agent Thunder went to go meet them.
Oh, very nice. Okay. Mm-hmm. Didn't remember. I remember you going. Boy, that was like another lifetime ago, wasn't it?
It really was. So the second time out there, I spent so much time downtown that I ended up really liking New Orleans. The first time I went, I didn't like it, but that's because they lived outside of New Orleans And so we only went downtown a few times and we did other stuff outside. And
Right.
so I thought, I don't really care about the city itself. But the second time, they did some of this stuff on their own while me and Agent Thunder went downtown. And so
Left you. Well, that's not a good
well,
combination.
they would drive us downtown, let us out. So we'd get down there about 1 o'clock because, you know, the night before we were out late, so we would, you know,
Right.
sleep in. So they drop us off around noon, 1 o'clock, and they would go do what they wanted to do.
Oh man, the
And
food.
so
would be-
then me and Agent Thunder would spend from that moment on till, you know, 2, 3, 4 in the morning walking around, enjoying New Orleans. And so I really,
Yeah.
really like New Orleans.
I'd like to go. I have a friend that lives in Lake Charles, which is 3 hours from either Houston or I think it's 4 hours from Louisiana. Good. She lives in Louisiana. But I have a friend there, and she's invited me to come visit her. But you know, it's 4 hours to drive to New Orleans. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'd like to go, but I don't. I mean, I'm kind of stuck for a while.
Yeah.
So maybe someday. I mean,
Put it on the list, bucket list.
I'm this many years from retiring almost.
Whew, nice.
Because your humble agent is old.
Yeah. Yeah, you are. So,
Up.
fun story. The first time I went,
I'm trying to force.
Me and the one friend went. It was the first night down on Bourbon Street. The husband, or he's ex-husband now, but
Of course he is.
husband at the time.
Which ex-husband? What number ex-husband? 17.
Just one. She's only been married the once.
Oh, the ones.
So we're walking down Bourbon Street and we're like, okay, what do we do? Anyway, so we found a jazz bar, and I'm not a fan of jazz, and she isn't either, but we thought, we're in New Orleans, it's Mardi Gras, we've got to go to a jazz bar, even if we don't stay very long. So we go in, we find our seats, and then the waitress comes over and asks us what drink we want. And I wasn't a big drinker yet at that point. She wasn't either. She was drinking something like, it wasn't White Club, but it was Smirnoffs. She was drinking Smirnoffs, like the flavored Smirnoffs.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she really didn't know about beer. I had no idea. So I was looking at the menu. This was before I started drinking. This was before I even knew of Blue Moon.
Oh, jeez. Don't admit that out loud.
So, I mean, I've had tasty beverages. I've had mixed drinks, cocktails.
Jägermeister.
But I didn't have beer, and they had a beer menu. And so I was looking, she's like, what do we get? And I'm like, I have no idea. So I noticed Guinness on there because I had a friend that at the time that I was going out to bars and clubs with, and that's what he drank. That's all he drank. So I said, you know what? I'm going to order a Guinness. And that was my first experience with Guinness. I think I drank that much of it. He had one drink or one sip of it. She's like, nope. I at least tried to get somewhat through it. But after like 3 or 4 drinks of it, I'm like, this isn't happening. And it really just needed some Jameson and Bailey's because, wow, it was not good.
Or some pear cider in it.
Pear cider. That is not how you start out drinking beer.
I would not. You'll notice I followed my horrible example lead, starting with Blue Moon and going to Stella, Lucille.
It's because I did it wrong, and I didn't want you to have to go through the pain and agony that I went through.
How did you start me on Jameson and Coke.
I told you to
Yeah.
pour Jameson in a glass and then a splash of Coke.
Yes. So
And it was delicious. And
you certainly didn't steer me correctly that day.
I knew what I was doing.
I wish I remembered what I texted you then.
I do too, because they were amazing texts.
Oh, thank God for carne asada burritos.
The one thing I learned about going to Mardi Gras is that you want to make sure you wear fully covered shoes and boots, really.
What do you want to wear?
Because the closer it gets to Fat Tuesday, the more unknown liquid.
Well, that's a pleasant way of
is in
saying
the
it.
streets. It could be vomit. It could be piss. It could be other bodily function liquids.
And that could be, probably is.
Right. Right. So gross. Also, that is when I got over any reservations or fear I have about using public restrooms and the grossness of it. I have never seen more gross bathrooms than I have in New Orleans during Mardi Gras. There were bathrooms. We started carrying toilet paper on us.
You have to.
And hand sanitizer, because nothing works. There's none of that.
Your humble agent has personal wipes in his EMK.
Yeah.
Or EPK.
You go into a bathroom, and there were times where you would have to
squat,
like really look at the floor and navigate steps, just where you should step to get to the toilet.
Oh, jeez.
And then back from the toilet. I've never seen anything more gross, but I now have no problem going to the bathroom anywhere, because there will never be a bathroom more gross than those ones.
Yeah, your humble agent doesn't like being around that many people. I mean, concerts. I remember my first big concert was The Who way back in 1982. It was that rhymed. And I was a little uncomfortable then because I'd known about the Who concert from 1979, which in Cincinnati, which ended unfortunately. But I don't know. I mean, that's one of the things that would stop me from wanting to be in New Orleans on Mardi Gras was that many people. I've been to the Pearl Street Mall crawl on Halloween, and fortunately, being a man, we can kind of go if we need to go and relieve ourselves. Pretty much go anywhere, And
right.
Men don't care, as you know from going to the fair. I was going to go right down there.
Yeah,
that was the Brick Fair, I believe, wasn't it?
That was the Brick Fair.
That was a sign of the times.
It really was.
But that many people, I just can't deal. I want to have a personal taser and just a slight, get out of my way. That happened to me at Comic-Con several times when I wish just a little shock to get people to move. Stop watching Lord of the Rings trailer for the 1800th time.
Right.
They're not going to see anything different.
So I'm that same way. I absolutely hate large crowds. It gives me such anxiety just trying to navigate through. Alcohol helps in that kind of situation. Also, if we knew where we were going, which we usually did when me and Agent Thunder were down there, because we spent so much time down there, we knew where the places were. We would leave Bourbon Street, walk up, and then go to where we were going. So we could avoid Bourbon Street altogether.
So I think that is it for the time being. And I've learned more about Mardi Gras than I have in ages. I do like Zydeco music quite a bit, which is a New Orleans thing. which is snap beans, really, but not my favorite, but my sainted mother loves them. So my fellow agents, I hope you have found this enlightening. My fellow believers, I'm sure you have. And until our next assignment, this is your humble agent of awesome, X7, and his partner in crime,
Lilith Draco.
the Princess of Power and the wonderful Princess of Power, signing off. Live long and prosper.
Bye.
I got beer.
I got bottled breast milk.
Why don't we start with the beer?
Okay.
Do you like the beer?
I do. I do. Although it's actually a lager.
Huh. What's the difference between beer and lager?
I don't know. We could look it up.